The good thing about books like Honor for Sale is that they can spur others on to write their own sides of the same story, and we, the readers, can compare and contrast the narratives. This can help us to get closer to the truth. One of Nigeria's emerging young leaders, Adekunle Osibogun, who is a legal practitioner, is on a mission to educate Nigerians on matters of the law and the Nigerian Constitution with the aim of developing an enlightened citizenry. Adekunle has written a book to that effect titled The Citizen's Book on Governance. He joined us to discuss this important work. Please join us after this break. Kunle, thank you for joining us on the Channels Book Club.
It's a pleasure, Conley.
And congratulations for this. The Citizen's Book on Governance. What you've done in this book is to simplify the Constitution and make it readable for mere men like us. I mean, apart from you lawyers. Is that correct?
Yes, you're totally right. What we've tried to achieve with the book is to create a manuscript that the average Nigerian, young and old, can read and refer to and be enlightened on the institutional system or democracy we practice today. That's what we've tried to achieve in there. And from the reviews we've got, it's been positive. And we believe a lot of people are better informed of our democratic system as a result of that.
So, instead of me going to look at the Constitution, well, everybody still needs to check the Constitution at one time or the other. Okay. But instead of being bogged down with the burden of what you lawyers have to learn, and the language of the law and so on, you've sort of like simplified at least the basic things in here. Is that correct? That's a feeling I had.
That is
flipping through the pages.
That is totally correct. I'd also add to that we've also referenced, so the particular sections of the Constitution that we try to simplify are clearly referenced there for cross-referencing if need be. Okay. But we also try to deal with each of the key institutions. So we dealt with the executive arm of government, the legislative, and the judiciary, and we simplified their roles, the requirements for the tenure, appointment, qualifications, and also the disciplinary and protective measures they have in the Constitution. I'll give you an example of the executive. Whilst you have a lot of people know about the impeachment proceedings, but not a lot of people know that there's a difference between the impeachment and removal of an executive officer as a result of his incapability. That's something that happened during Yar'Adua's time, yes. So that would not fall under impeachment, but actually the removal. And it's also clear with the legislature, for example, that the legislators are answerable to the people. So it's only the people that can recall their representatives at the House. So that's that. So we not only just simplifying the Constitution, we've tried to tell a story about it. We started from the spirit of the Constitution as contained in Chapter 2, which we all know is non-justiciable, being their rights or the vision of the Constitution as contained in the document itself, what it aspires to achieve for Nigerians. We have painted that picture and have shown how each of these arms of government are to try and achieve that. And so people or the citizens can better hold the government to account if that's not being handled properly.
And I guess the motivation here is to empower the Nigerian citizenry. Is that correct?
That is correct. It was our findings that whilst a lot of people were familiar with military rule, a lot of people actually grew up under it and did not have the experience of a democratic system of government. So we took it upon ourselves to try as much as possible to enlighten as many people as possible about what democracy is about. It's not just about your rights, but you also have duties to state. A key one is the payment of taxes and also the support of government with information. So we have tried as much as possible to balance that and paint a holistic picture of what a citizen's responsibility in a democratic system is.
Okay, let's talk about the bigger issue here that birthed, this book. What's your opinion? What's your take on how knowledgeable the average Nigerian is when it comes to matters of the law and matters of the Constitution, particularly when you then compare that with what should be the ideal. Is the average Nigerian knowledgeable enough with regards to his or her rights, the law, the Constitution, and so on? And how much work do we need to do if your answer is a negative one? How much work do we still need to do to bring the Nigerian up to speed with regards to knowing what the Constitution and the law says?
There is a lot of work to be done. I can tell you that from the different sessions we've held in schools and in public townhouse gatherings. We observe that not a lot of people are aware of. Even people who are educated, none of them are familiar with the rights and obligations under the Constitution. And what we try to do with the project is to try as much as possible to enlighten them. It's an enlightenment project, which we use this as a template for.
Okay.
And as to the work that needs to be done, it's a uphill task. I can tell you that because what we're seeing now is not just the ignorance of the constitutional rights, but also a decline in values. That decline in values is a major worry, because even if people know their rights, then the value is not there to secure those rights. Now that's a key challenge we begin to find now.
I need to understand that. Even if people understand the law, the values are not there to implement the law.
That is totally right. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
There's so many cases in court now of corrupt individuals, and has been there in perpetuity, haven't been concluded. There's so many atrocities being committed. There's so much corruption in the land now, but the values, our societal values, have gone to a level that we don't have the willpower to see the right being done anymore. So even if you know your constitutional rights,
that is dangerous.
it is very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
It is very dangerous. I do totally agree with you. And if it's not checked, and the unfortunate part is that the younger generation are seeing this trend, and they will surely replicate it, because they will copy what they see.
And then it becomes a culture.
Yes.
And we end up with a very chaotic society.
We hope not. We hope not. And that's the thing. Once you have identified a problem, the next thing is to try and solve that problem. It's on society as a whole to recognize that we are experiencing a decline in our values, and that's why you could see with the current state of the nation how people are just being killed randomly without any value for life. The earlier we check this decline in value, the better we could secure the future of the country.
Okay, tell me more about this Enlightenment project. This is the first of a series of books, I'm guessing.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so you want to produce a whole lot more. What else are you doing apart from turning out the books? What are you doing?
We have a project. It's called Project Awaken Nigerian Youths. It's supported by the Young Progressive Nigerians Initiative, YPNI. And what we do is we go to secondary schools and primary schools to hold sessions with the young kids, and at least try and enlighten them and encourage them on what is right and wrong. We've also held sessions with people in undergraduates and universities as well, which is more engaging, because then you have questions like, why should I do that when Mr. XYZ did that and he didn't get anywhere, but Mr. ABC did it and he's successful? So we are seeing a lot of challenges, but we believe the project is reaping good fruits, because I think we've actually been able to encourage a lot of young students to not only write articles, but also to take up pet projects and adopt other secondary schools to and hold enlightenment sessions in. Yes.
So what's your story? Why are you doing this? I mean, it's a very fascinating project because from where I sit, Nigeria needs this a lot. I mean, a lot. We have, with all due respect, we have a very ignorant population. Check out the indices on education and so on. Check out those who have even graduated. How literate are we, and so on. So Well, what's the story? Why are you doing this?
My story is this. I have two daughters. They're both Nigerian citizens, born in Nigeria. I was under a lot of pressure, peer pressure, to have my kids abroad. But I chose, because I'm a Nigerian citizen, to have my kids here. And I see it as an investment in their future. I believe that if they're going to grow up in this country, I have to at least pay my little 5 cents to make the country a little better, to at least they have something to inherit. And not only my kids, but other kids. There's so many children who, if you look into their eyes, you see a sense of helplessness and hopelessness. And if we, who have the means and the ability and the youth as well, because I'm a young man, to at least try and take up 1 or 2 projects to see if we can impact on society. If we don't do it, then we would rob our future generations of that privilege.
So how far has this book gone? How is it doing?
Well, the book is in most of the major bookstores. A few organizations have taken up a few copies as well, and sponsored free distribution in some of the schools. So we've done some of that. But we have a problem with reading culture in Nigeria, which is very evident.
I was going to take you up on that. Going to take you up on that.
So if it's not a compulsory read, not a lot of people would pick it up and read.
Despite its importance.
Yes.
People will still not read.
That is the country we live in now. Not a lot of people like to pick up the books and read. I know there have been quite a number of reviewers who have recommended it for the read. Justice Ogutade did that. Professor Remi Shonaya, Chief Folanke Sholanke, SAN. They have recommended it as a compulsory read, and are encouraging the state governments to try and put this on the curriculum as well. But all that's still a work in progress, because if it's not a compulsory read, not a lot of people pick it up. But we're doing our best. We're trying to push it to all the schools, encourage people to pick a copy, know your rights, know your duties to society, and also know the obligations of your politically elected officers. That's the message we're preaching.
I would have thought that the government classes in our schools will take care of a lot of this. There must be something wrong there. Did you do any research on how well the government classes are doing, the government subjects are doing in the schools, and so on before you wrote this?
From our feedback and what we saw was our interaction with a lot of the young students. I would not want to talk on the curriculum because there are other authors in there as well, and also teachers as well. But we saw that there was a lacuna there. There was a need for this book. There was a need for a document that concisely contains the Constitution and simplifies it for the average reader. We saw that nation. We tried to fill
that gap. Okay.
Yeah, and we tried to plug that gap. So that's what we. So there are government books, but they all come from different approaches. They all have different approaches and different perspectives. And what we try to do with this one is not only to identify what the Constitution says, but we've also done a comparative of, for example, the legislative system we practice as a trusteeship system, as opposed to the delegative system in some other climes. And we've tried to show the difference between both of them. And these are discussions that would be very, very good for the National Confab as well, which is currently going on. And I know debates are being going on as to what system should be adopted and what changes should be made. We have tried to do a comparative in this book to show the advantages of both and disadvantages of both, and hopefully just to ignite that light bulb and have people thinking that, okay, maybe we could do it better this way, because surely the Constitution is not a perfect document, but it's a working document. And what we're saying is that if the document is going to be improved on, we need to understand not only the current system, but also the options out there. That's what we try to achieve with that.
Adekunle, thank you very much for joining us on the Channels Book Club.
It's been a pleasure, Adekunle.
You are doing a great job.
Thanks a lot.
Nice book. Can you get this signed for me?
Yeah, I surely will.
Now.
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you.
Last week, we posted a quiz question for you to win 6 copies of Sukomi Vaughn's book for intending business owners. The question was, mention just one book we have used as our book of the week on this show. Here are the 6 winners. You can also find their details on our Facebook page displayed on your screen. These 6 were the first to answer the question correctly. If you are one of the 6 winners, please call 0809 111 4809 to pick up your prizes. If you are between 11 and 16 years old and in a secondary school, please participate in the National Green Essay Competition organized by Uplift Development Foundation with the support of the Channels Book Club. Visit www.channelstv.com as from today to get all the details you need to participate. The book you will be required to read is Green Education for the Youth, written by Olufunsho Amosun, who is the wife of the governor of Ogun State. You can find this book to download on the Channels TV website. Finally, before I go, let me inform you that we will announce the new date for our Children's Book Club event next week. So please stay tuned for that. I hope you have enjoyed today's show. Don't forget you can join us on any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. My name is Adekunle Kasumo. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.